There's a lot of people who love wheated bourbons, but what's the best one? Today, we're going to try to find out in a wheated war.
After this. Hey everyone, we're the Whiskey Sippers. I'm Devin.
I'm Todd.
And we're going to do a little flight of some wheated bourbons for you. So we're going to start off. These have been blind poured for us. And we're going to start with the Larceny. So the Larceny is B523, 124.4 proof. Standard offering from Heaven Hill. They do 3 releases a year. And this is one that I have open and thought it was a pretty good one out of all the batches we've had together. This is the Weller Full Proof, not a store pick. Probably the most allocated on this blind. 114 proof, non-chill filtered. And yeah, some good stuff. So Todd, you want to talk about the other two?
Yeah, so we got a Maker's Mark 46 cask strength, which is French oak finished. It's 110.1 proof. This is the standard shelf bottle, so it's pretty widely available. And this last one is actually the King's Family Distillery wheated bourbon. This was a pick done by a group called Bourbon Together, which is a Facebook group. And I'm a member of this group, and we do barrel picks. So this particular one from King's is sourced. So King sources from MGP. So this is really an MGP wheat, but this has the tater sticker, King of the Wheat. And so we threw that pick in there against these 3 more standard bottles.
Yep. And it's a 112 proof.
Yes.
So 112 proof, 110
10.1.
Yeah. 114 proof and 124.4. So above 110, you know, almost that barrel proof or barrel proof. So nothing that's low proof on this flight.
All right, so these are blind pours. Now let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, let's start with the nose.
There's a lot of ethanol in that one.
I'm not getting much on this one though.
I'm getting ethanol.
Really swivel this a little bit.
A little bit of sweetness.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's just the ethanol overpowers everything. It just kind of burns my nose hairs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bourbon. Yeah, I'm not really getting much on A either.
All right, B.
All right, B has a little something now. Okay.
I'm getting a little bit of earthiness.
Yeah, I get that.
A little bit of like fruit.
Dash of Sharpie, just a smidge.
Now I get a little bit of fruit and earthiness, and
yeah,
it's not anywhere near as ethanol heavy as A.
But there's more going on with B, but it's still not something I'm like, man, let me stick my nose in this for a while. Like there's something going on, but
I find that with a lot of wheated, I don't get a lot of
complexity, like dill or rye spice or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that I do on wheateds in general.
Well, I think that one's definitely better than A though on the nose. Ooh.
It's a little bit darker.
See, there's a little something.
So now I'm getting a little bit of like the caramel.
Yeah.
Like this one seems.
Yeah, this definitely has the best nose so far.
This one's deeper. It's caramel, and I still get a little bit of earthiness on it. But I'm getting like the caramel brown sugar sweetness on it.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
get
darker and richer than the other two by like a good while.
A bit. Yeah.
Edge that one out. And then D has got not much going on, but it's nice and sweet.
I get some fruit on that. I'm getting some fruit, like some red fruit, maybe like some kind of berry.
Yeah, D's nice. I think it's
D's nice. It's not as deep as C, but it's got some nice scent to it.
Yeah, I compare B and D again.
And for anyone wondering why I do this,
because he's about to sneeze.
No. When you're nosing, if you sniff your skin, it resets your nose to the taste. Well, if you don't have some kind of aroma kit,
little coffee beans here.
Yeah, but if you sniff your skin, it'll help reset your scent when you're going between glasses, especially from ethanol. All right, so to me, C was the best on the nose.
Yeah. I had C, D, B, and then A.
Yeah, I was the same.
Yeah. All right, well, let's try.
To the palate.
Try. Cheers.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's better on the palate than on the nose. It's got a really long finish.
Long finish.
On the back of the palate, I get some fruitiness.
A little pepper.
Yeah.
It's a little on the palate's a little brash, but then the finish kind of makes up a little bit for it. Yeah.
I like the finish.
Yeah, finish is good. The nose though.
Mm.
Come on. Just want a little more out of this, you know. Do you happen to know the? Well, I know this is around 60 to 65, maybe 70 in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be 55 to 60, but
it's more like 180, 190 on secondary.
Yeah.
This was like, I believe it was around 55 when I picked it up in Kentucky. And this one I paid $65 for the barrel pick.
So they're all in that like 50 to 70 MSRP range, with this obviously being the allocated one. So yeah, so they're in that ballpark, but so let's kind of see how they compare. Yeah, B's just a little nut better on that nose. It might not be as oily as A, but the finish seems longer.
It's oakier. I get a lot more oak on this one than I did on A. You know, typically I'm not a huge fan of wheated bourbons because a lot of wheated bourbons have like a funk to them, which I always kind of attribute to tasting like moldy wood.
Moldy wood.
Yeah, especially like a Rebel.
You gotta get some of that moldy wood.
Like I really dislike Rebel because of that funk.
Yeah.
And a lot of wheateds have it. And I get a little bit of that on B. I didn't get it on A. So I get like oakiness and a little bit of funk on B.
Yeah. I think overall, though, I think I still like B just a little bit more than A.
It's got a little bit of funkiness in the mid palate on the end. Very oaky. I think A was probably a little more oily in my mouth than B was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move on to C.
The nose on C, though.
That's really weird. I get quite a bit of spice on that for a wheated bourbon. It's very peppery to me. Peppery and oaky, a little bit of like a touch of cinnamon almost.
That's a spicy weeder.
Yeah, that's... It's got some sweetness to it.
Yeah. I haven't had this particular Maker's Mark, but I've had all, the cask strength and all that. I haven't had the Kings, but I have had these two, and this doesn't really have a familiar profile as much.
No, and I'll say, because of that sweetness and that cinnamon, I think it might be the French oak finish on that. Yeah, that's what that might be. Yeah, that one's definitely sweeter than the first two, in my opinion, for sure.
But spicier.
Yeah, spicy. Still, it's got some pepper on the finish. Pepper
a
on
little
the finish.
Szechuan finish, a little sweet, spicy.
Yeah, it leaves the back of your throat kind of tingling a little bit with that spicy.
Mine's like mid palate, just right on my tongue.
I'm getting it on the end.
Yeah.
Getting that pepper on the end, peppery.
That one's pretty good. If you want like a little weeded kick in the mouth, I guess it's pretty good.
That's good sweetness too.
And D's just, it's pretty rounded. The nose is good. I'm trying to think if I want to switch these two.
So that's the fruitiest of them so far to me. Got a lot of fruit in the mid palate on that one. That's got a good mouthfeel. That's got a strong mouthfeel. That's got some kick to it. That's I think that may be the highest proof of them. at least the way it drinks. That had a really nice fruity mid palate.
That finish is going on.
Yeah, it's still going for sure.
Like forward palate finish. Straight to the tongue, tip of the tongue, and it just sits there. Might have to just
that's
nudge that one out.
I'm going to go back through one more time.
C might be very comparable on the nose, but
that finish, D is just
the finish. That's what it, you know. I mean, we both like higher proof bourbons. I mean, there's times where we like lower shelfer, lower side proofer stuff. You know, like we always talk about the Old Forester 1910
It's a great starter.
You know, like, but that is a great high proof weeder right there.
Going back to A.
Yeah, we'll try A after D here.
I still don't get anything on the nose, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you just like tasting bourbon but don't want to smell it, I mean, this is the one for you.
And it's oaky. Almost like maybe a little bit of honey. Like something like whenever I
Like
drink
earthy something. Like a fresh earth hay. Yeah.
Whenever I get anything honey finished, I always think of hay.
Yeah.
I kind of get that earthy hay note.
Like the Woodford honey finish.
Yeah,
I get straight hay on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I got a couple of bottles. I was like, it's just like hay.
So that's oaky and earthy. That's B. The nose is opened up a little bit. It's a little more robust. It's a little deeper. So I get some sweetness off of that, but the finish is still a little bit oaky, but sweet. It doesn't have the finish of these others. I mean, I'm still...
Yeah, A and B are not doing it for me.
No. I mean, no.
C, though, I'm going to go back to C and D and just kind of... I think D's nudging it out. I think C has just a complex nose.
I got to go between these. Yeah, C and D, I got to go head to head here. C is just dark. It is sweet, like brown sugar. I get a little cinnamon pop on the end. It's got a nice mouth feel.
We'll finish on D, though. That's doing it for me. Well, I think I have my order.
Wow, there's just a fruity note in the mid palate of that D. That's so different from the others.
That's a good D, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I think I've got my order, and I'm pretty sure we're
the same here.
Probably the same. So what's your last place?
My last is A. It didn't have anything on the nose. Flavor was just kind of one-noted. Like,
I agree. A was my last. It had very little on the nose. It was mostly just oaky on the finish, and it just didn't have a lot going for it. Third place?
B.
B, yeah.
It had a little more robustness and more complexity, but it wasn't as complex as C or D. Your third place?
My third place was C.
Or second place. Second place.
Second place.
C.
Second place was C. C was sweet and woody. It had a deeper aroma on the nose, and it had more of a mouthfeel.
C on the nose was, I think, better than all the other ones. Maybe just nudged out D, but it had some good complexity, good finish, good taste. I see nothing really wrong with C, but when you put it against our first place, which is D, there was a little bit more going on with D, and it did have that like sweeter fruit note right in the middle, and a good long forward finish for me that I always enjoy. So I went with D.
Yeah, D was number one for me because it did have that fruitiness in the mid palate, and none of the other three had that. It really stood out because of that.
Yeah.
And the finish just went on and on and on and on. And I'm thinking this is probably the Larceny. I think it's the highest proof one. If I'm guessing, I'm thinking A was probably King's, B is probably the Weller, C is the French Oak, and D is the Larceny.
Yeah, it did have a higher proof. I want to be like, I want this to be the Weller, but I really want this to be the Weller. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if I really want to guess, but I think Larceny is definitely one of these two. I don't know. I haven't had Kings really before this, so I want to say this is the Kings, but I feel like these three are pretty good options. I haven't had this one before, so.
We're about to find out.
Yeah, let's see. Here we go. So.
What was A? Last place.
A was Kings.
Yep, as I
So
thought.
Kings. Ooh.
B.
An interesting turn of events.
What was B?
Weller. The Weller foolproof.
That's what I had said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
C was the Makers.
Yep.
And D was
West
Larceny.
So the order I predicted. As far as the weededs go, Larceny came out on top for us, and I think it had a lot to do with the proof.
Two were in a league of their own.
Yeah.
And these two were like.
It's like there's a gap there.
Yeah.
Right. So these two definitely outdistanced those two, which is really funny considering the foolproof is probably my favorite from the Weller line.
Yeah.
And it really didn't match up with those other two.
Yeah. Now I will say everyone did like this, at least for the most part. I would say the B523 from last year was
one of the best Larcenys I've had.
Yeah.
That was my favorite from last year, and one of my favorite probably from the past 3 years that I've had them. So
yeah, I got 2 bottles of it. This is my second one, and the first one was really good. So
yeah.
Well, anyway, if you like this weeded battle of a flight or a blind flight, let us know.
Hit that subscribe button down below. We're on our way to 500, and once we hit 500 subscribers, we will have a giveaway.
Yep.
So be part of that.
Yeah, and till next time,
the best bourbon or whiskey
is the one you like the most, which apparently is Larceny B523.
at least compared to these.
Yeah.
See ya.